If you're watching this video and this is your first time on Medicare, chances are you probably got some mail in the mailbox lately. I would guess you probably got a stack of, that or bigger, full of items to teach you about Medicare. One of those items is probably choosing a Medigap policy put out by Medicare that they deliver to you to help you understand the differences in the Medigap plan letters. Well, my name is Russell Noga, founder of Medisupps.com, and my job is to do that easier for you. In that book is a plans chart. That is the Medigap plans chart that shows you 10 different Medicare supplement plans and their benefits. Well, in this video, that should be less than about 6 or 7 minutes. I'm going to make it far easier, teach you how to read that chart, cover the differences in the plan letters and their benefits, as well as the cost of Medigap plans. So stick around. Let me just start with the basics of Medicare and why you would even want a Medigap plan. Well, you're going to have Medicare Part A and Part B. That is called Original Medicare. It's sort of a hub, as I like to call it, of all the rest of your coverage. You can add a Part D drug plan to that as well as a Medigap plan. So Part A covers hospitalization and Part B covers your doctor's services. You can see why that's the hub. That's the core of your medical benefits. And again, you add the Part D drug plan to it and you've got prescription coverage as well. Now, Part A and Part B don't cover everything. There are what are called gaps in them, or expenses, and these are deductibles, copays, and coinsurance that you're required to pay, and that's where a Medigap plan comes in. Hence the term Medigap helps cover the gaps of Part A and Part B. There are 10 different Medigap plans available. I'm going to show you the chart here in a moment and why we don't really even need to look at most of them. There are just a few popular plans that most people go with that provide great coverage for relatively low premiums. Before I compare the Medigap plans, though, I'll tell you a little bit more about what is Medisupps.com. And I am Russell Noga, the founder of it. Well, we're an online insurance agency. We've been in business 11 years now, helping seniors across the country save money on their Medicare supplement insurance. There's never a cost for our services. We help you get enrolled after we check the quotes from all of the top companies. You can visit Medisupps.com at any time and get free online quotes, and I actually show you the rates. I'm probably one of the few sites out there that either doesn't sell your information or just say thank you at the end when you put your information in. I show you the rates. I actually do what I say I'm going to do, and I do that because I hope I earn your trust and show you. We've been doing this now 11 years with over 10,000 people we've helped with their Medigap insurance, and especially when you get a rate increase, which you will every year, you want somebody on your side who has access to all of the companies to show you what those lowest premiums are. So let's go ahead and dive right into that Medigap plans chart where I will teach you how to read it and to show you what the benefits are of those most popular plans that I mentioned. So here we are, the Medicare supplement plans chart, and this includes for 2021. These are all of the plans that will be available as well as their coverage. Now, again, here is Medisupps.com. That's, of course, us with our phone number at the top. At any point, if you just need to give us a call, you say, I want to get enrolled now, go ahead and give us a call. So on the left-hand side of this chart, you've got the different benefits that are available. And at the top, of course, you've got Medigap plans A through N going across the top. You might be looking at this and saying, seems like a couple letters are missing. And that is because in 2010, they removed a couple letters and added a couple more. So you'll see J and Plan E are not even on here. They removed those and added M and N, and there's also no I on here also. But most of these, as I mentioned before, we're not even going to look at. And the reason is they have less coverage and probably cost the same or more than, say, a plan like Plan N or Plan G. So we're going to focus on the most popular plans. And that's because an unpopular plan always equals a very expensive plan, and it usually has less coverage. Now, I will start with what was the most popular plan for many years. And again, some of you folks out there may have it, and that's Plan F. Plan F just covers 100% of those gaps in Part A and Part B Medicare, like I mentioned. So you literally show your cards at the door of the doctor and get no bills, and that includes specialists and hospitals, which sounds tremendous. And believe me, for years it was great, but that plan is priced out of the market now. Again, you're probably paying at least $300 or $400 or $500 extra dollars in monthly premiums above what Plan G cost just to get this year a $198 benefit. This is 2020. So let me explain. Plan F covers 100%. As you go down the column, it's a bunch of check marks. Part B excess, 100%. Next to that is Plan G. So let's check our check marks. Looks good, looks good. Oh, there's an empty white square. What does that mean? That means you pay that square. So let's go over to the left and look at our benefits. Well, that is the Part B deductible. So that means Plan G, as we go down the rest of the column, all has green check marks. It's 100% except for that one item. Well, the Part B deductible is an amount you pay prior to Medicare beginning to pay. In fact, the basic definition of a deductible is an amount of money you pay before insurance starts paying. The Part B deductible for 2020 is $198. So you pay the first $198. After that, Medicare will begin paying. They'll be satisfied. They'll say, okay, we'll come in and pay 80% of your medical bills. And Plan G, as you can see, will pay the difference. So you see this Part B coinsurance is that additional 20%. Because you've already paid that white square, that Part B deductible, it's 100% coverage. Now, what's the difference between that and Plan F? Well, as you can see, Plan F pays the $198 for you. But I guarantee you, if I check the quotes on Plan F versus Plan G, you're paying that $400 or $500 extra dollars in yearly premium to get a $198 benefit. So you're giving them all that extra money just to write a check with your money and pay the Part B deductible. Plan G, just do it yourself. You pay the Part B deductible yourself, which is going to be in 2020 the first $198 of your medical bills. Once you pay that, it pretty much turns into a Plan F. You get 100% coverage, but that $300, $400, or $500 extra dollars of premium, you stick in your pocket on Plan G just to write the check. So a much better option. Of course, if you're turning 65 or just coming out of Medicare now, you can't even get a Plan F. But this is for you folks who kept your Plan F thinking it was a good idea. Now, it might be. If you don't care what it costs and you just never want to see a medical bill, Plan F all the way. You're going to get higher rate increases because the plan is closed, what's called a closed risk pool. But again, if you got the money and you don't care, then go with it. Because for some people, the luxury of no medical bills is priceless. And I get that up to a certain point, but most of the people I talk with, every dollar counts. If that's you and you kept your Plan F, give us a call today, 1-888-891-0229. And we'll at least just tell you how much Plan G costs, and then we'll go into which companies we can possibly switch you to. So onward we go down the list of plan letters. Here's a couple other plan letters that, again, we don't typically even write for anybody. If you want one, you're dying to have one, I will find you one. However, you're going to get half the benefits or 3/4 of the benefits for probably what it's going to cost you for a Plan N. If you went with K or an L, Plan N is probably the same price or maybe even lower, and you get more benefits. So again, an unpopular plan always equals higher premiums. But let's talk about Plan N versus Plan G because they're very close. As we go down our column, you still have the Part B deductible, which is blank here. So you need to pay that on Plan N as well. Remember, it's $198 for 2020. Well, also under that is another white square in the column of Plan N, and that's Part B excess charges. Most of the doctors in this country accept what's called the assigned rates from Medicare. Even in Medicare's own publication, it will tell you that. It will say most doctors accept assignment. In the event you go to a doctor that does, which is most doctors, you'll never see a Part B excess charge because they don't charge them. There's 9 states that aren't even allowed to charge them either way, but if your doctor takes the assigned rates for Medicare, you'll never see a Part B excess charge. In the event that you go to, let's say, a clinic or something where they don't take the assigned rates, they can charge up to 15% higher. You would be required to pay a percentage of that. Again, very rare, could come up, but extremely rare on Plan N. Just ask your doctor if they take the assigned rates for Medicare. One other thing on Plan N could come up, 2 other things actually, is Plan N has what's called a copay after you meet your deductible. So in other words, you pay the Part B deductible. Each doctor's visit thereafter for the rest of the year, you could get a copay for the doctor's visit. However, it will never be more than $20. It could be less than $20, or it could be $0, depending on how they code your visit, but it will never be more than $20. And one other thing on Plan N is it's not on this chart, if you visit the emergency room and you're not admitted, it's a $50 copay. Now you might be saying, well, gee, Plan G sounds like a winner. I don't have to deal with all that. And that's true, you don't. And you'll get higher premiums on Plan G, but you have no other out-of-pocket expenses except the Part B deductible. But for Plan N, I get a lot of clients who never go to the doctor. They tell me, Russell, I just want to save money on my monthly premium. If something big happens, I want great coverage, but I don't want to pay the higher premium all year long, and I can handle the copay here or there. Plan N's the way to go in that case. And I have we probably have more than a few thousand on Plan N, a few thousand clients, that is. And that's because it's awesome coverage. But if you don't want to fiddle with any kind of copays or deductibles or miscellaneous expenses, then, well, Plan G, you'll have one deductible. Plan G is the way to go. So it's going to be between those two. And again, we could talk about your current situation when we talk on the phone and match up whether Plan G or Plan N is going to be a better match for you. Now, Plan N has one other benefit, and that is lower rate increases each year than Plan G. Because you've got some additional out-of-pocket expenses that could happen, people tend to use those plans more responsibly. For example, the copay when you go to the emergency room, people who have a Plan N, if they know they have to pay $50, they'll probably not go if it's a non-emergency. However, if you know you can go for anything, which is what happened on Plan F, you could get a Plan F on June 1 and June 2, go get major heart surgery, it's 100% covered. Or get your Plan F and that day go to the emergency room and just say, I'm not feeling well. Can you imagine? You could have gone to your regular doctor, and people do that all the time. That drives up costs like crazy. So the government stepped in and said, no more. Well, on Plan N, with those additional out-of-pocket expenses, people use it more responsibly, which results in not just those lower premiums than Plan G, but also lower rate increases each year. So that breaks down the plans chart. Let's talk a little bit more about the various benefits of each plan, and then we'll get on to the cost. So as you can see, those are your best options and the benefits that each plan covers. Now you're probably asking, sounds great, Russell. How much do Medigap plans cost? Well, the cost of each plan varies on a couple of different factors. And I don't even like to ballpark it on these videos because it's going to be way off. And the reason is these factors include things like your zip code. Zip code matters a lot. Rates are a lot higher in, say, Houston, Texas, than they are in even Austin, Texas, believe it or not, or some other part of North Carolina or Virginia. So it really depends on where you live. It also depends on your gender. It depends on whether you're getting a household discount or not, and tobacco use, as well as your age. This will determine the actual rate for your Medigap plan. So again, like I mentioned, on Medisupps.com, you can go ahead, punch in your information, and actually see rates from the top carriers, and they are accurate for your area. Another way, though, and the easiest way, is just to give us a call now at 1-888-891-0229. One of us can give you the rates right over the phone, show you exactly what those plan letters are, maybe ask you a few questions and match up what we think between that Plan G and Plan N is going to be the best option. And again, if you're coming off of Plan F, boy, you are going to save a ton of money. And I hope you do call, because I want to be the one who tells you about it and tells you just how much we can save you. So again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Russell Noga with Medisupps.com. Give us a call now. Start saving money on your Medicare supplement insurance today and for years to come.